4 steps to a good evaluation.
Step 1. State the goal of the speech. Step 2. Identify areas where the goal was met. Step 3. Mention 1 or 2 areas for improvement generally related to the goal of the speech or skills covered in previous speeches. And step 4. Close with positive comments.
Today, we're going to talk a little bit more about step 3 and how to provide criticism that is constructive versus destructive.
When providing constructive criticism, rather than explicitly pointing out what was done poorly, you instead describe what you would prefer to see and a suggestion on how to achieve that.
Let's show some examples of destructive versus constructive criticism.
You look down at your paper the whole time. You had almost no eye contact. I'd like to see some more eye contact. 2 ways you can build that are by rehearsing your speech a little more. And another technique is to mark up your speech to remind yourself to look up. You can also put your finger at the end of a paragraph and look around the audience at these times.
You really didn't use any gestures. You pretty much held on to the lectern the whole time, except for when you raised 2 fingers down here to tell us about how many cats you have. There are quite a few opportunities to add more gestures to your speech. For example, when you were talking about sneaking past the other kids, you could have showed us what that looked like. Maybe hunching your shoulders and tiptoeing in place, or scrunching your nose when you were talking about the smelly place. Try to broaden your gestures and look for more opportunities to use them in your speeches.
You spoke in a monotone. Do you know what that means? I want to encourage you to record your speeches during your practice and listen to yourself. You'll hear how those times when your voice varies more. Louder, softer, faster, slower, high-pitched, lower-pitched, etc. It's more interesting. Your visual aids are too small for everyone in the audience to see. It would make a big difference for the audience if you made your visual aids bigger and easier to see. If that won't work, you might try walking away from the lectern to show your visual aids up close while you talk about it. You can also pass around your visual aids, but keep in mind that too many can become distracting.
Destructive criticism can also result from giving criticism of an area that the member hasn't specifically worked on yet. For example, mentioning areas for improvement in vocal variety when the member hasn't done their vocal variety speech yet, and you're actually evaluating their gesture speech.
It would be appropriate in this instance to mention if they did well in vocal variety, but not if that area needs improvement.
When evaluating, the topic or content of the speech is generally never critiqued. One exception to this is when evaluating a getting to know you speech. In those cases, you can comment on what you learned from the speech about the member that you found most interesting.
For the getting to know you speech, because it's the speaker's first speech to the group, don't mention need for improvement in gestures, vocal variety, or visual aids. These areas are emphasized in later speeches.
When evaluating a getting to know you speech, limit your suggestions to no more than one area for improvement. For example, as you work on your next speeches, extra practice will help you add in more eye contact. Or, it's easy to be nervous, but slowing down your speech a little will help us understand it better and help you meet your time goal.
Try to wrap up any evaluation by pointing out areas where the speaker already shows strength or potential. For example, eye contact, general confidence, professional appearance, gestures, vocal variety, visual aids, vocabulary, etc.
The structure of a Speakers League evaluation is not a rule but a guideline. By following this guideline, you help to remind everybody what the speaker was trying to accomplish, and then sandwich your criticism between 2 positives so that the criticism is neither the first nor the last thing that the speaker hears.
Thanks for watching. You can find more training videos on the web at speakersleague.com/video or on the Speakers League channel on YouTube.
Step 1. 1. State the goal of the speech. 2. 3. Mention...
Poorly, you wait,
I'm sorry. I completely blew that. Can I do that one more time?
Look at this is hard. I'll start going between
You're giving criticism of an area. Dang it.
This is creepy. I don't like this.